Development with the government shutdown. The FAA is planning to cut flights by 10% beginning tomorrow at the country's 40 busiest airports, from LAX to JFK, D.C., Atlanta, Boston, Philadelphia, and Chicago. The Department of Transportation says this decision is for flyers' safety, warning that staffing shortages and fatigue among air traffic controllers could lead to critical mistakes if left unchecked.
I'm concerned about disrupting people's travel. We're coming into a weekend. That doesn't, listen, I travel a lot. We are concerned about that. But we had to have a gut check of what is our job. Is it to make sure there's, minimal delays or minimal cancellations, or is our job to make sure we make the hard decisions to continue to keep the airspace safe? That is our job.
The air traffic controller shortages have already led to tens of thousands of flights being delayed or canceled. All of this, of course, unfolding right before one of the busiest travel seasons of the year. This woman has already canceled her plans.
My brother lives on the East Coast, and usually he does Thanksgiving, but I have vetoed and protested this year and will not make it happen, sadly.
MSNBC's Mark Santia is at Philadelphia International, one of the airports expected to see reductions starting tomorrow. With me here in studio, founder of The Points Guy, Brian Kelly. Okay, Mark, approximately 81,600 passengers fly out of the airport where you are every day. So what are the preps like going on, and what are you hearing there?
So, Chris, people are preparing for tomorrow by getting ready today. Many passengers getting here early. They just wanted to check out the security lines. They were wondering how this was all going to work out. Now, remember, tomorrow it's a 4% reduction. Then it builds from there. So the concern for folks here in Philly is what happens when I come back to Philadelphia? So people are making arrangements with their babysitters, with their dog sitters, talking to their bosses just in case their flights back here to Philly are delayed or cut. They tell us that's really the concern right now. So they're making preparations for those return flights just in case there's that 10% reduction. Passengers we talked to said they are preparing for the unexpected. Take a listen.
There's a concern for everybody traveling. We spend a lot of money. We need to get things straightened out.
It is what it is. What are you going to do? I can't do anything to change it. As long as everything's safe, that's all. That's all that matters.
And back here live, Chris, that's the common theme. That's the common theme we're hearing, is that passengers say they want to be safe. That's something obviously being echoed by the government as well. But passengers are also telling us they're looking ahead, Chris. 31 million people are expected to be flying for Thanksgiving. We talked to several passengers already today here in Philadelphia who say they're driving. They're not willing to roll the dice. They don't know what's going to happen, and they're already making preparations to drive to see loved ones for the Thanksgiving holiday. Back to you, Chris.
Oh, did you have to say that? Because my brother, who is driving here to see me for Thanksgiving, already called me and said, oh, I'm worried about how long it's going to take me to get there. I said, the tickets are bought, the turkey's ordered, you're coming. But that's neither here nor there.
Joining us now is Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg. Mayor Greenberg, oh, I am so sorry for the circumstances that we are here talking to get today. Thanks for being here. The investigation, I know, is still ongoing. What questions do you still need answered about what happened, and how long until we have answers?
Well, there are several questions that we still have. First and foremost, we want to be able to identify all of the victims. There are 12 bodies that we have recovered on the scene, and we want to make sure that their families know and can confirm the deaths and passing of their loved ones. They are still, tragically waiting for questions, and being with them and providing support is one thing, but ultimately they want answers. So we're hoping that with, the testing that's being done right now and identification process, they can get that rapidly. Then, of course, just like everybody, we want to know what happened and why, most importantly, so that this never happens again here in Louisville or in any other city across the country. And that's what the NTSB is doing. They have a very professional and large team that is on the ground now. I met with them yesterday. They have done over 100,000 of these investigations, and we know that they will get the answers that the entire country is looking for.
So just to make sure we understand, the 12 people who are confirmed dead and then the 9 people unaccounted for, do you believe there's some overlap there, or do you anticipate the death toll rising by perhaps 9?
Yeah, to be clear, the death toll may rise, but right now, there are 12 fatalities. We know that there were 3 members of the UPS crew. That leaves 9 unidentified victims at this time. And that seems to comport with the 9 individuals that families were looking for at our Family Assistance Center that we had set up as a place for families to go and to provide information. But again, there may be others that we either don't know are missing or that their families don't know are missing. So there may be others beyond.
This is a huge tragedy. How's the community there dealing with it?
It's hit us all very hard. UPS is a big part of our city, over 20,000 employees across the city in so many different walks of life in every neighborhood in our city. And so if we know somebody who's involved with UPS. They've been a great corporate citizen. And beyond that, even if you don't know someone directly, it is a huge tragedy to happen in your backyard. But Louisville has been through tragedies before, and we come together with strength and resilience, supporting one another. And that's what we will do here as well. There's a vigil tonight that I'll be attending, and that's the beginning of the healing process where we can support one another in these challenging times to move forward.
I mean, as we look at some of this footage of the flames and the impact zone, the whole area around the crash site was heavily impacted. What are you most concerned about with the recovery process?
Yeah, so Governor Beshear and Congressman McGarvey and I had an opportunity to tour that yesterday, and it was unlike anything I've seen even in movies. A half-mile long of charred, mangled metal, debris everywhere. Still, there were some fires at the time when we were on the site, really unlike anything you've ever even dreamt of before. And to know that there were bodies that were still there and that there are families looking for answers. There are a lot of businesses in this area. Fortunately, it was not a residential area.
The combination of air traffic controllers' fatigue and sick calls are hitting a breaking point. The results will impact millions of travelers. Starting tomorrow, the FAA will cut flights by 10% at the nation's 40 busiest airports. The Transportation Secretary says it's all about keeping the airspace safe, with controllers about to miss their second full paycheck in the longest government shutdown in history. Joining us now, Nick Daniels, president of the National Air Traffic Controllers Association. Nick, it's good to see you. First, let me ask how your controllers are doing right now.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you having me. They're stressed. They're fatigued. And this is, obviously the longest shutdown in history. And now they wake up to the same headline that everyone else does of no end in sight, hanging on every word. When will they get paid next? And they already know that even if the shutdown is to end today, that it's going to be months before they get all the pay that they're owed from the last 37 days of the shutdown. So it is every day a new set of challenges that these air traffic controllers face, and goes to show these unsung heroes are unbelievably stepping up to the plate amidst this crisis.
What do you think of this decision? Will it help air traffic controllers?
Secretary Duffy and Administrator Bedford taking the proactive measures to ensure that there is another layer of safety in the system. It's only something that we've talked about this entire time. There's only one way in the aviation system that as risk increases, that you have to reduce the capacity of the airspace. And this is a step in that direction. Air traffic controllers are showing up every single day.
These questions keep coming up, folks. And whether or not officially the blame is going to go on Trump, I guess we don't know 100%. That's why I often use question marks. But the point is, a lot of individual people are saying, this is all connected. Donald Trump's cuts. Remember, in the beginning of his term, there were all these airplane accidents, and it coincided with the fact that there was real shakeups at the flight administration and whatnot. And Elon was basically telling people they were going to be fired, so some of them quit. And that means on day one of the Trump presidency, some people weren't there that probably should have been. Even if they were going to replace them, they probably should have gotten the replacement in line before you're going to remove these experts at the very top of a lot of things that keep Americans safe. And now all of a sudden you see another plane crash at the very same time that they're admitting the airports like lack capacity because you're not paying the air traffic controllers. You're effectively asking some people to work for free, right? This is Trumpism. This is the right-wing government policy. This is Doge. We're seeing a mini example of this in Canada right now even. Mark Carney's going to cut 40,000 public servants. Right? This is neoliberal economics. This is where Trump, it's ironic because Trump's an evil president, but this is just a traditional consequence of right-wing economics, whether done by Trump, but you could have seen something similar done by like a Reagan or a Romney or a right-wing liberal in Canada or a conservative in Canada. Cuts that are designed to shift wealth to the 1%, but put everybody else at risk, right? And these cuts lower quality of life, they lower economic activity, they lower safety, they lower workers' rights. And whether or not this UPS crash can be directly attributed, narratively, a lot of people are making that connection. And look, we live in the era of Trump. We don't play the game like we used to play the game. If the narrative works to defeat Trump, we use the narrative. And the narrative is Trump's caused havoc in America's flight administration. And now planes are still crashing.